All right, good morning again. In today's video, we're going to talk about structures, which like greater than, less than, equal to, not equal to, look at if else and switch case structures. One thing I do want to show you though is I created a new script. I pasted the header, and when I run it, I get this error. Okay. What I would do is go back to the editor, just close it, and restart Octave. So just restart it, and it should work. Okay, and then it should run, change directory, go back here. Yeah, okay. So if you ever get that error, just close it and restart. I haven't figured out how to fix that error yet without doing that. Okay, so let's get right in, and I'm going to copy and paste a few things. And let me make this a little, here we go. Okay, cool. All right, so make sure it runs. I don't get any errors right now. Okay, perfect. All right, so say we have, there's a few things we can do for structures. I'm going to paste in a matrix, and we're going to find when maybe numbers are less than that, greater than it, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to. This is and, this is an or, and not. Okay, and we're not going to go through every one, but these are some of the structures. So I'm just going to copy and paste so we can save some time. We have two matrices. We have X and we have T. And if you want, watch. If you plotted this, just to show you, there's some sort of temperature profile on the Y and some sort of X location on the X. All right, so temperature profile versus X. Not a huge deal, but I just wanted to show you. So we have a matrix, two matrices, X and T. And what we're going to do first is we're going to look and say, well, can you find in that T matrix the locations where they're equal to 200? All right. So if I take this off, it should be, this is location 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It should be 7, then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 7 and 13. So when I run this and I go and look at here, I like this. I like this feature. It's like a quick little command window. We get 7 and 13. So if we're trying to find when t equals 200, it gives us the positions, 7 and 13. And say we wanted to know what those say, okay, well, we could just say t of 0, 0, just some matrix. It'd be t of position, which those should give you 200. All right. And say we wanted to know x 0, 0, which is x parenthesis position. So we're going to find the x coordinates that correspond to when the temperature is 200. So if I run this again, go back to my command window, you get 0.6 and 1.2 for positions. That's pretty cool. Okay. Well, what happens if now we want to find when t is greater than or equal to 100? And I'm going to put semicolons on all of these. So we're going to find in this matrix when the temperature is 100 or greater. And then you can say, oh, well, what are all the positions of x for that? So if I run it, Go back up. So G is 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12, and 13. Those are our positions. And then the X values are 0, 0.3, 0.4, 0.6, and so on. All right, cool, cool. Well, okay, so we got them equal to, we got it greater. Well, what happens if we want to try to find them in between? So find t greater than or equal to 100 and t less than or equal to 150. And we'll say t of A equals t of H. So we're finding when they're greater than or equal to 100, but less than or equal to 150, and we're going to spit out what the temperatures are. So let's run it. Go back. So we have 4. So it's 100, 130, 120, and 143. So we just found in like the range. Cool. So again, these are less than, equal to, greater than conditions that you're going to use on a daily basis in engineering for these. So I'm just going to say CLC, clear all. Oh, there. Now let's look at if statements. And what we're going to do is I'm going to paste this to get to the point. Okay, so we're going to look at a quadratic equation. And you've done this before by hand. So I'm just going to delete this. So we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. The coefficient in front of the x squared is 1. That's a. Coefficient in front of x in this term, all right, for b is 0. And then say we pick -9 for c. Okay. We can change these coefficients, right? So this is technically x squared minus 9 equals 0. And we can solve for x. But you can use, remember, we have the negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And I'm just going to put parentheses around these. So let's just look. These are two answers that you could get from the quadratic equation. So if we run it, go back to here, and you get 3 and -3, which I hope makes sense because we're looking at x squared equals 9. So we get 3 and -3. Because they both will give you 9. So we can write an if statement. If answer 1 is greater than 0, then the correct answer is answer 1. Okay? And now I'm going to show you if we're going to print this. So we're going to say print f parenthesis, the time is positive. Then we're going to do a \n single quote, close the parenthesis, and we're going to say else correct equals answer 2. End. So this is an if statement or if else statement. We say if, then we say the condition. If answer 1 is greater than 0, then that's the correct answer. We say correct equals this. And then I just print the time is positive to the command window, and you'll see this. Else, the correct answer is actually answer 2 because that one is positive. So if I run this, go to this. So we have, because answer 1 is positive, that's the correct answer, and that's why it spit out the time is positive in the command window. If it was the other way around, we wouldn't have read what line 52 is because it would have been negative. Okay? So that's how you start an if else. Okay, let's look at another example. So x is 10, and we're going to say if x is greater than 0, which it is, then we're going to solve for y equals log of x. Okay, else it's going to beep. Okay, the computer's going to beep, and it will display the input must be positive. So let's first run this. Go back here. Okay, nothing happened. Now if we say negative, it beeped. Did you hear that? Okay, because it went into this, and this says the input must be positive. Pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, let's do one more. Okay, here's another example. We have R1 is 1, R2 is 5, R3 is 6. And we're saying if R1 equals 0, so we need double equals, then we're using R1. Okay, or you can put in more commands. Else if R2 equals 6, okay, then we're using R2. And then else if R3 equals 6, then we're using R3. And then, so these are if, else if. Okay, this is like if you have more than like 2 conditions, you have 3 conditions or 4 conditions, and you want to use else if. Okay, so if, else if, then you could have else. Anything else, you use this. So you could say else, and then put whatever else you need in here. Okay. But for this case, we're just doing else if. So if you run this, it will spit out that, and it's beeping because of above. So we're using R3, and then you can do you can put your commands inside here. Let's change this so it's positive so we don't hear the beep anymore. So, quick summary. I showed you some structures. I showed you if, else, and else if. The last thing I want to show you are what they call switch and case. So, if I go to, I'm just going to copy and paste this for you, and we'll go through it. And I'll enter down here. All right. So, switch cases. Morning, Renner. I'll be right there, okay? Mom. Mommy had to go to work, okay? I'm almost done. You can, that's fine. All right, so here is all homework grades. We have 100, 30, and 90. And then we have 2 test grades, 67 and 98. And what we're going to do is we're going to use what they call a switch and case structure to determine, okay, we're going to look at homework grades or we're going to look at test grades. So switch and case are when you use like characters or words instead of numbers. So the choice we're going to do is called homework grades. We can switch that to test grades if we want. So it'll be switch, choice. So that's our choice. And then it's going to be 2 cases or 3 cases. Say you had quiz grades or something. So in each case where it says case, that's where you're going to have homework grades or you're going to have test grades. And then in here, if it's homework, I'm just going to calculate the mean. And then if it's test, I'm just going to calculate the average or mean. Okay? So I can type return here, and the code will stop right there. So we're going to look at homework grades. So let's take the semicolon off here, and we'll run it. And we go down here, and then boom, it spit out homework average, 73.33. Because we picked homework grades. If we want to do test grades, we just take this, copy this, and paste it right in here, and it will do test grades. Okay? So again, switch and case, they use characters. Make sure you have single quotes here. And then the switch, it's going to be choice, so whatever word you make here. And then the cases are each individual structure case. I'm going to take this return out. And now let's do a push button. Choice 2, menu, select course from menu. So it'd be left or right. And then you have choice 2, which is this switch, case 1 or case 2. Okay, these are because this is a cool little feature where it's a menu, it actually pops up. So let's run it, and then a menu will pop up. Isn't that cool? So that's what the menu means. And so let's do left. It'll actually spit out you're going left. Okay? Because this is case 1 and 2, because there is left and right. Say you wanted to add another one, you could put a comma here, say down, and then you'd have case 3. But inside each case is where you could do calculations. You could say, okay, I'm going left, but maybe calculate the miles that I need to go. So if I click run again and I do right, and I go up here, you're going right. It's in this section now, and that's where you can do your own calculations. Okay. So, in summary, this video tutorial shows you how to do structures, greater than, less than, equal. It goes through if, else if, and then also switch and case programming. All right. Thank you for watching and have a great day.